Good afternoon. So we're going to have the fireside chat with Homma-san and myself. First of all, let me explain a little bit why I'm here and the self-introduction, very short self-introduction. So I'm here because of two reasons. First, I'm at the moment, vice chair of Keizai Doyukai in Japan. It's a Japan corporate association executive, something like that. Yeah. And the Keizai Doyukai. And the Keizai Doyukai and the KITA, Korean International Trade Association, which is the sponsor for this forum, and which owns this huge building, very rich association. So we are the partner right now, and we have been discussing together, and we have the round table discussion with Japanese leaders and the Korean leaders together. And we discussed the various issues in the past 2 years. We had a 6th-time meeting together, both in Korea and Japan. The last meeting was May this year in Osaka, which now Expo is opening. So at the discussion, we discussed many topics, but we feel Japan and Korea has a similar situation. So we have the aging society, we have the shortage of human capital from now on, we have limited natural resources. Both countries share very unique Asian IPs, cultures, games, contents. So there are so many areas we can collaborate. So those are the kind of things, and especially in the area of startups. So Japan is now quite an interesting stage because we have so many inbound people coming into Japan, many foreign investment coming into Japan. So Korea also has many attractive startups, so we can have the collaboration. So that's why I'm here. That's the first reason. The second reason is I'm, at the moment, Chief Executive Lotte Holdings Japan. So Lotte is a very unique company. So 2 headquarters in both in Korea and Japan. Also, Korean side is more larger scale of the business, but we have 2 headquarters. And we are now very closely collaborating each other because we are same family. So in the area of the like a fine chemical, biopharmaceutical. So in Korea, we have Lotte Ventures, corporate venture capitals, which has been investing in 300 companies in the past 9 years. In Japan also, we have the Lotte Ventures Japan. We invested about 25 companies. So we exchange information very closely. Is there any very interesting company in Korea which has very strong interest in Japanese market? Or is there any Japanese company which has very strong interest in the collaborating with a Korean company? So we are doing those kind of things because of the Lotte situation. So that's why I'm here. So today, I'm the, I can contribute for the discussion from the Lotte perspective, Keizai Doyukai perspective, large enterprise perspective, and the Homma-san, he will explain now. He's quite famous, a venture capitalist in Japan. He's watching not only Japan, but also Asia Pacific market very broadly. So he can give some insight from investors' point of view. Okay, how about the Homma-san, please, your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamatsuka-san. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Masahiko Homma, co-founder and general partner of the Incubate Fund. Incubate Fund, I started in 2010 together with 3 co-founders. Now that we became one of the largest early-stage tech venture capital firm in Japan to invest very close sector, to invest in the outer space, robotics, AI, healthcare, B2B SaaS, and contents, very sector agnostic, any kind of the innovation that we see from Japan's market. And as Tamatsuka-san explained, beyond Japan market, we have the operation in Singapore and India and the Bay Area in the United States. We have about 10 members in the overseas. and about 50 members in Tokyo office. We manage about 1 billion USD plus in Japan, investing 250 startups and over. And we already invested in about 50 startups overseas. Today, I'd like to touch on, of course, I came also to belong to the member of the Keizai Doyu Kai of this Korea-Japan missions. Would like to have some sort of the comparable view on to watch on the startup ecosystem in Korea as well as the startup ecosystem in Japan.
So, thank you, Homma-san. I'm kind of moderator from now on. I think the Japan and Korea are quite similar situation in terms of the startup ecosystem. Similar challenges. Korea advanced some areas, Japan advanced some areas. What's your view on the startup community and the ecosystem? Nowadays, maybe changing a lot, right? So could you explain that?
I have been in this industry over the 25 years. I think I used to do a lot of the investment into the mobile gaming application and internet. Such space, of course, we see many of the similarity on the innovation from the Korea. I would say that many of the contents and the entertainment innovation literally came from the Korea and getting to the Japan's market, expanding. So that's kind of a history that I recall. But gradually, both of the ecosystem has been changing. I think definitely even the Korean venture capital having more extensive view on the investment categories. Now that we are seeing many of the deep tech startups, of course, many of these deep tech startups really synchronize with the concept on the idea of the geopolitical tension we have now between US and China or trading war by the Trump administration. Such thing really affects the startup innovation we see in the deep tech. So especially in the Japan's government really saw the strong initiative to support the specific category of the industry and the business model. The space industry is one of them. The government set up the huge amount of the government grant as well as the government purchase program. And the second target we see in the green innovation, many of the, let's say, startups out there in this conference as well, and the energy-related thing. And third, fourth related to the issue like defense. And fourth, as Tamatsuka mentioned again, in both of the country and market see the huge labor shortage. So this will be the flip side on coin will be the innovation opportunity for the innovation like robotics, the humanoid thing for the future, I guess.
I think as Homma-san mentioned, the few years ago when we were investing into the application software categories, it's not so large capital required, and the only single venture capital supporting that company that can happen. However, as he mentioned, we are now entering into a deep tech, like a green transformation, robotics, humanoid robotics. We saw some of them. So we need certain capitals. Since I'm very closely working together with Korea, with so many friends in Korea, my impression is that Korea has a very strong triangle. One triangle that is the large enterprise, Samsung, LG, Hyundai, Lotte, and startups, and government, and also some academics, like KAIST, Seoul University. So government decide some of the strategic area, like robotics, semiconductors, biopharmaceutical, so on, like 15, 20 very strategic area, and then large enterprises, focusing on that in terms of the research and development and some new incubation for some new product, and then together with startups. It's very closely connected. That was my impression. I think Japan has been learning from Korea in the past few years. And as Homma-san mentioned, nowadays, government realized, we have to have more strategic view. As he mentioned, like a green transformation, some space industries and the deep tech. The government allocates quite sizable capital. And then we, large company, support and focus for those areas. And then some new startup company coming in. So I feel Japan is changing a little bit from those strategic view. How do you think?
Yes, I think in the, yeah, agree. I think in the overall situation of the, let's say, how the society and the government or even the executive in large company, enterprise see the view on the how the towards the startups and definitely is changing. Again, before the mobile application gaming, 100% out of their scope. Okay, let's do it. But just as a user, they may play. But the non-relationship is the large enterprise, the ongoing business, and any issue by the regulators' point of view, no relation. But I think given that many of the, let's say, innovation, the place where the innovation is happening has been shifting to the deep tech and making more impact to the, let's say, employment or the society itself, then definitely the startup cannot achieve such innovation by itself. The rather definitely need more collaboration, the support and help from the large enterprise, regulator, or the other part of the, let's say, related party is more required for sure.
I think in Japan, my time, when I was 20s, 30s, I didn't have the kind of the teacher in terms of entrepreneur. There was like a people like a Morita-san who started Sony, Honda-san who started the Honda company, but they are kind of already history and too big. So now I realized in the first generation of startup in Japan is like a Son-san from SoftBank, maybe Yanai-san from Uniqlo, so on. And then second generation, we have like GMO, there are many companies. And then now we are entering third generation. They are 20s, 30s. And they are challenging various area categories. I feel it's really good. As a country, we have many entrepreneurship, many people challenging for the new company, new ideas. It's really good. So Japan now slowly entering that stage, and I feel some of the very attractive, very innovative entrepreneurs even in Japan. We can see that. How do you think in terms of the human resources, human capital, leadership, so on?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Definitely, I think Japan has been facing the long challenge of the mobility of the human resources. Going to be the really key. Even before, of course, this legacy of the Son-san, SoftBank, Rakuten of Mikitani-san, and Yanai-san of Uniqlo, and also such, let's say, legendary history and experience passed down to the second generation of my age, and also this experience also the share with the third generation, the fourth generation. It's ongoing, and layer itself is people, such layer of the, let's say, members growing. So some sort of big change in the 20 and 30-ish is young talents who could work for the consulting firm McKinsey or investment banking like Goldman Sachs or working for the Mitsubishi Corporation or some banking sector. Gradually understand that once they want to really challenge and express their capability fully on the early 20s, 30, in the younger age, of the career, they all fully understood that the jumping into the startup and take the executive position of the CEO, CFO, or CTO, some others, and work as a co-founder and build this startup making the bigger, gonna be the big career. Even after this challenge may fail, or maybe in the middle, they can, let's say, the confident to get into the next job on the larger enterprise or some other opportunity in the other industry. Now in such the concept and the idea, they're really well accepted on the younger generation, on the talents.
So we have some, leadership community, slowly, we do see some of the attractive leadership entrepreneurs, in terms of human resources. I do see some of the people started moving from big enterprise to jump into the startup as a chief financial officer, chief marketing officer, so on. I do see that, those things happening. In terms of the capital, we do see so many venture capitals, corporate venture capital, and some of the foreign venture capitals coming into Japan. So what we need, what additional element we need to break through or more revitalize the startup community in Japan?
I think, and the simple answer is definitely the collaboration with the large enterprise. And also the creating startup, the working together with the government and startup, or government large enterprise plus startup type of let's say, joint venture like idea gonna be the answer, I think. Because the many just having some sort of belief in globally that the startup can solve anything. Like IT giants can solve anything. That such dogma were there before COVID, I think. But after the COVID, some sort of the expectation, over expectation to the startup thing in just getting down. So I mean that only some sort of the independent the startup itself can do some sort of the thing and some can achieve the many things, but not good enough to make a huge volume of or huge level of the innovation that we expect from the society to do some sort of such, let's say, the big issue like energy, like the quantum computing, like the outer space, cannot be done by let's say, independent startup. They definitely the interconnected collaboration between the large enterprise, government, or even the users, and the technology and the academics. All the mix going to be required, I think.
I think from the large corporation point of view, what we have to create is in Japan, majority of the exit option is IPO at the moment, initial public offering. Not so much M&A from large enterprises. But we have to really create the foundation and the system and the ecosystem. Large company acquiring a very attractive startup. For Lotte case, like a large company, we are trying very hard, but from our side, under the large organization, very difficult to create something totally new, innovative idea, a new type of the challenge spirit. Also, we are trying really hard. So if we can retain very attractive startup, the ideas and the people and work together, it's create really, really positive effect. So from that perspective and from startup point of view, if there is an option for the exit, for the large companies, the acquisition, it's really good. So those are the things we have to create, especially Tokyo Stock Exchange is a market. They started changing a little bit the regulation. Now they set up the minimum market value at the 10 billion yen, which is 100 billion won, Korean won, is a minimum, market value. So because of those, regulation change, it's getting, IPO is getting very difficult option. So we have so many areas, large enterprise have to, change a little bit, and we have to have more speed. We have to have more, those leadership. How do you think? You have some requests for the large enterprises? Those are the things maybe, right?
Yeah, I think in some sort of let's say both startup side and large enterprise need to learn more about what each of the counters, the parties' behavior. So I think one of the challenge or the issue for the startup side is most likely the overvalued toward the actual financial performance. That this was most likely the startup play and the venture capital play to try keep up the, let's say, the market cap as quick as possible to set the condition of the, let's say, the premium, the, let's say, situation of the fundraising. If the stock price gets higher, the condition to raise funding is better for a startup. That's the mechanism. I think we need to adjust.
So Homma-san, a little bit change the subject. So what are the area you are very interested in terms of the investment opportunity? In Japan, we are now facing very serious shortage of the human resources, especially in the service sectors like retail. I was in retail industry very long time, and the logistics, so on. Very serious human resource shortage. So like robotics technology to minimize and to solve those issues is a very strong need from industry point of view. The AI is coming up, and the AI versus physical robotics. So those are the things we really need in Japanese market. What's your interesting area or strategic area now as a priority?
Related to this point, and definitely in the spatial AI, is we visited actually in the neighbor lab a few months ago and early in this year. So then this is exactly what's happening in the most advanced spatial AI in Asia, I believe. And some sort of let's say, the spatial AI data definitely accelerate, not necessarily the autonomous driving, as well as how we control the robotics and the humanoid inside the, let's say, such building, or the factory and the office, or some sort of retail as well. So the data comes first, and once we just ready everything for the data, definitely in the many of the manufacturing, the robotics parts and the innovation will come after.
I see. So go back to the initial discussion. So Homma-san watching the covering Asia Pacific widely, including India, Southeast Asia, including Korea. So you have any view on for Asia Pacific broader perspective, and you feel some opportunities, some interest, strong interest in terms of the Asia Pacific as a whole?
Yes.
Some collaboration, further collaboration with Korea, yes. Korean company?
I think in regarding the collaboration among all Asias for the tech and the investment and the startup thing, before we expect a lot on the Southeast Asia or India because the middle class growing, population is huge. That was some sort of the idea just before the COVID. But after the COVID, I think the people's, also the startup, the executive and the venture capital's mindset in changing more for the East Asian collaboration, but never happened before, and not now. But definitely in this going to be the white space for each of the 3 countries and market. There's some sort of the good legacy of the industry that exists in the deep tech. And then on the top of that, if we can think of the really good collaboration in the energy, robotics, or automotive, on the AI, on the top of that, the AI works. Then such collaboration doesn't happen now, but this going to be, I think, in really the white space, never talk, many people not talk about much on that, but gradually growing, I'm sure.
I see. Homma-san, you came Korea yesterday, and I heard you are meeting with some of the investors, right? So do you feel some differences between Korea and Japan in terms of the investors, point of view or speed, flexibility, focus on?
Actually, not much difference. In the I met is a person from the Estic Investment and Ventures. Then just some sort of surprise at what they are looking for as an investment. Let's say the strategy, what kind of investment they want to do in the category in quantum computing and nuclear fusion or fusion technology and such thing. In the almost I would say in the 95% overlap. So then I think in that fight, I think the both of the government want to try initiate such similar type of in the end, the answer going to be the similar, right? And what kind of let's say, future industry the both of the market should build. And that fight, I think that really reflect the investment strategy in the both market, in the Korean BC and the Japan's BC. In that case, regarding deep tech investment, I don't see a big difference. Also, I would say 95% are going to be the same as for the behavior.
So because of the limitation of the time, so this is a final, the one word, both of us, because the geopolitical situation, geopolitical risk has been changing a lot. The tension between China, United States, so on. So I really feel I have been discussing with through the Kita people and Korean entrepreneurs. We have many similar areas, similar problems, and we can really work together some areas, and collaboration between Korea and Japan is very crucial. So I feel this kind of forum, Japanese company attending, more Japanese startup is coming. The stronger relationship, I feel very important. Thank you very much for today. Homma-san, please.
Thank you very much for having me on this panel. I think in such the collaboration between the ecosystem, venture capital ecosystem, the startup ecosystem in the Korea and Japan is not very active at this moment. So, but thinking about what each of the market and the investor and the founder see, the opportunity, almost going to be again the very overlapped. So as we see in the really good collaboration, actual collaboration in the neighbor SoftBank in the internet age, I want to see more collaboration in for instance, the B2B software, the collaboration, or the quantum computing collaboration, or the robotics, the startup collaboration, such thing that I would like to see ongoing in the future. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.